Now, I was thinking about something earlier that really struck a chord with me, and I don't know if anybody else will be able to understand this or not. But there was a really rough stretch through my high school years where I was picked on a lot. People were pretty amazingly cruel to me when I was in school. A bunch of, young and up and coming right wing country good old boy types. And I was the new kid in school, and I didn't fit into the club. And so those kids were pretty brutal. I've been in plenty of fights. Kids walking by, smacking me in the head, kicking me, whatever. I remember one kid got in a lot of trouble because he was doing this joke here where he was like, hey, there's a tree here in the forest, there's a tree here, and then he knees me in the balls as hard as he can. He goes, stump. Thought it was real funny. Teacher literally picked him up, threw him into a locker outside of the class. I'll never forget that. But, I've been jumped by like 10 kids at a time. I had one kid sucker punch me in my glasses because I still wore glasses back then. Folded under and like hooked this part of my eyebrow and just went straight down to the skull and just made a huge slice right here. Like I went into the bathroom and this like part of my eyelid just like fell over my eye. Kind of gruesome. I still won the fight though. One kid took a cap full of cologne and threw it in my face, causing, like second-degree chemical burns inside my eyes, inside my eye sockets. Been set on fire, literally. And these were just a bunch of cruel pranks from idiot kids in a podunk town called Westville, Indiana. And what they did to me stuck with me for years. But there's an irony in what I'm saying here because at no time would I ever believe, even to this day, that while they were stupid and assholes, if any one of those guys saw me actually bleeding out, wouldn't come to run to my rescue. I believe firmly with everything that I am that none of those guys would just sit there and watch me die. And I definitely don't believe that if I had died, any of those guys would sit there and laugh about it. Now maybe they would. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys are just that cynical, sorry sons of bitches that would actually laugh at my death. But I don't think so. See, because even though they were kind of being complete pieces of shit to me, people still cared about life back then. People understood that not everybody's going to have the same ideas as you do. And that disagreement with those ideas doesn't mean they're trying to take your rights away or that they're trying to stop you from living your life however you see fit. They just disagree with you. And I was thinking about how our society has just devolved into what it has become, where a man who, I don't care what anybody says, would have friendly debates with people. I don't think that I've heard too much of him actually being aggressive. Now, I will say that he made a couple of jokes that I didn't think were great, and he's made a couple of comments that I didn't agree with. But people saying that he's taking their rights away and all of this just ignorant shit. It's just being indoctrinated. Like they can't think for themselves. There is no critical thinking. And you can tell because so many of these people just live off their emotions. That's it. It's just emotion. There is no control to that whatsoever. And it saddens me because even these dumb hillbillies in this, at the time, one stoplight town, they would never, ever watch me die like a bunch of people watched Serena die. They would never laugh at my death like a bunch of people have laughed at Charlie Kirk's. We didn't get along, and I was not their favorite person. And I honestly do believe that they would not have done that. And even though they were horrible people to me, I would not let them sit there and bleed out. And I sure as hell wouldn't laugh at their death. As a matter of fact, there have been some of those people that were pretty horrible to me that have died since then. I'm 47 now. I'm getting closer to 50. So yeah, there are people in our class that have died. Some that have been pretty cruel to me. How can I take joy in that? That's sick. It's so sick. And I feel bad that, some of those people have passed and some of those people have, had kind of tragic situations that have happened. Nobody deserves to go out like Charlie did. Nobody deserves to go out like Irina did. I don't care what you say. I don't agree with you if you think anything otherwise. And I'll be honest, I think this is kind of a line in the sand for me with people. Like, if you agree with this kind of stuff, if you're that cold and calloused and inhuman, then I don't want anything to do with those people because they are not people. Those are the kind of people that you have to worry about. That's what it is. So I was just coming home on the bus. I had to run a few errands, and I just had that rolling around my head, and I just kind of wanted to say that really quick because it is kind of fascinating to see what our society has become, even from when I was growing up being the outcast. I didn't fit into any mold. I was always the oddball, and I was always getting picked on, and I was always getting abused and brutalized. And I went through years of that. And believe me, it left its mark. And here I am, wondering how people can be so violent and cynical and sick. I really don't get it. So those are my thoughts for now. I'll talk to you guys later.